What if you don't need to live in pain and suffering? What if you could give up your karma and have a life of abundance and joy? What if you could start creating magic and miracles that you never thought were possible? Get ready to listen, share, and experience the magic that is you. Now, here's the host of Creating Abundance with Ease radio show, Dr. Helen Gitlevich.
Welcome. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our show topic is, how much fun is your life? Is your life actually fun and joy or pain and suffering? Life should be fun. Otherwise, what's the purpose of it? Let's play with the concept of fun and what it is and your life. And I just wanted to share a little bit about me. I'm a medical doctor who became Access Consciousness Facilitator and Akashic Records teacher and consultant. I wear many hats, including podcast host, and I always was searching for different tools to create and change and improve your life. Now I facilitate classes around the world, online, live, to invite people to a different possibility with their health, money, relationship, whatever they desire, through private sessions and classes. Join me. Hope to see you one of those days. So fun. What is fun? And you can find out more about me on my website, creatingabundancewithease.com. So it's an interesting concept of fun, because certain languages don't even have translation for that. They don't have word for fun. They have joy, they have ease, they might have happiness. But fun is an interesting word in English language, because it has kind of like the notation of everything. A little bit of joy, a little bit of happiness, a little bit of that, a little bit of that. So how much in our lives we have no clue what fun is, me included. My life before Access Consciousness, or even before Akashic Records, because I've been doing Access Consciousness for about 9 years and Akashic Records work for about 24. Both of those modalities are about changing your life, clearing your karma, clearing anything that's not allowing you to actually live the life of happiness, joy, and fun. In Access, there is a mantra: all of life comes to me or to us with ease and joy and glory. And glory is exuberance of everything. Joy, happiness, etc., and abundance of life. With fun. It's interesting because people always kind of like when they come for consultation, Akashic Records, even in Access sometimes, people ask, what's my purpose? What's the purpose of my life? It's pretty much 90% of people in the past were coming with that question, because they were wondering, with all the pain and suffering in the world, with everything that's going on in a lot of people's lives, very few people have lives that's totally easy, totally fun, totally happiness all the time. Majority of people kind of like create different things in their lives that might not be fun. And yet, hear this. In one of the classes I took with a co-founder of Access, Access Consciousness was created by Gary Douglas and Dr. Dane here. And in one of the classes with Dr. Dane, a woman asked him that the last few years doing classes, pretty much working on herself, she was asking for more fun and joy in her life. And yet, she was creating more pain and suffering. he looked at her and asked, it's like, so what is fun for you? And she was shocked because the answer came up was, oh, fun for me is pain. Because a lot of times we misidentify and misapply certain concepts. A lot of people, and I'm saying a lot of people, misidentify things. Some people who grew up with abuse, physical, emotional, sexual, doesn't matter. The parents would hit the child and say, I'm hitting you because I love you. Or they criticize and tell them you're stupid. I'm telling you that because I love you. How many times, majority of us, I wouldn't say all of us, because there might be some exceptions where parents were wonderful, never hit the child, never criticized, never ever did anything other than loving and hugging and kissing and all that. And yet there might be something else going on in that family. Saying that, majority of us has certain ideas where it was misidentified, like abuse and love. Because for a lot of people, and I grew up in Russia, came when I was a teenager, and in Russian there was a even expression. If the husband doesn't hit his wife, doesn't abuse his wife, it means he doesn't love her. So same thing with, it's just easier to demonstrate on abuse, but yet fun has the same thing. Just recently, somebody asked me, how is your life? And I answered without even thinking, so much fun and joy. But that was sarcastic because there was a lot of things was going on in my life that was not fun and joy. On the opposite is there was a lot of stress, a lot of stuff happening. And I caught myself, it's like, wait a second. I misidentified fun or joy as pain and suffering, as stress, as a lot of other things. And or people get some weird news, some painful news, and say, oh, joy. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm going to use a clearing statement, which is part of Access Consciousness tools. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POT, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Don't even think about remembering it right now, but you can go to accessconsciousness.com or theclearingstatement.com and find out more in details, what it is, how it works. For now, just think of it as short speak for different energies that allows us to clear vibrationally the limitation, the points of view we have, so we can change our lives. So I'm going to ask you, everything that you've made or decided fun is, that it isn't, that you misidentified, will you now let go of that, destroy and uncreate it, as we say in Access? And now I'm going to say that phrase, the crazy phrase, right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POT, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Did you feel a little lighter? I did. So for me, for a long time, apparently for fun was pain or suffering. For how many of you it is? A lot of people, when they get to be happy, they have fear that, oh, that happiness won't last or that fun will not last. And then they create some disaster to get out of it. And you say, no, people don't do disasters. They don't create, it just happens to them. I love that concept. Not. Again, all the sarcasm that we use, as you can see, creates those things where everything is not what it seems. We have a phrase, everything is opposite of what it appears to be, and nothing is opposite of what it appears to be. Because, as I said, our point of view creates our reality. We create our lives. Nothing happens to us. And yet, a lot of us look at the things and say, oh, this happened, this happened, this happened. No, we've created it. Unless we realize that we create everything in our lives with the point of view we have, we cannot change it. Because if things are out of our control, then they are out of control. And yet, if we create what we have, then we can create something different. Just look at that for a second. If we're small and powerless, and everything happens to us, and we cannot change, then we are in the no-choice universe that totally beyond our control. So we have to look outside of us to change it, and it's not working. I'm just saying, and yet, if we realize that our point of view creates our reality, we create everything in our lives. And I'm not talking about cognitive. I mean, nobody in their correct, good, awful mind will ever create illnesses and disease, cognitively and consciously, right? And yet, a lot of people are sick and dying, or just sick. So, what I'm talking about is the creation unconsciously, subconsciously, when we are not aware of when and how we create. My invitation to you, looking at what's going on in your life, and start being aware of where and how we create our lives, how and when we create fun, or disasters, or suffering, or pain. And it's time for us to go on our first break in the show. And you were listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on Inspired Choices Network. And we will be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our show topic is how much fun is your life? And just wanted to remind you that you can find out more about me on creatingabundancewithease.com, especially about the classes, private session that I'm doing using the tools of Access Consciousness and Akashic Records. Because being a medical doctor, I changed my career quite a few years ago to search and find more tools to change your life. And I do have some classes coming up. I have a question in the chat. Being You with Your Body actually starts tomorrow, September 2nd, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. And it is online. I'm co-facilitating it with Rachel Silber. I'm going to be doing body class around Labor Day weekend in Chicago area, bars class September 9, and Access Facelift on September 20th. And you can listen to my podcast every Wednesday at 11 o'clock, just like this one. So how much fun can we have? How much fun can you create? And before we went on a break, we were talking about that we create our reality based on the point of view. And nothing happens to us. We're not pathetic, we're not small, we're actually very powerful. And in order to make ourselves less powerful, we contract and create disasters. So when we realize that, when we start becoming aware of what we are creating, that's when we can use the tools to change it. One of the tools I love from Access Consciousness is how does it get any better than that, and what else is possible? Asking questions can change pretty much anything, as long as they're questions, not the conclusions. Because a lot of times, as I said, we create our reality. So you'd ask, how do we create the disasters? Easy. Very easy. Milliseconds of unconsciousness, milliseconds of sarcasm, milliseconds of stupidity, as I call it. Stupidity is just unawareness. Think of a moment where you're going along and kind of like look around and you don't like what you see, and you say, I don't want to see this. I don't like what I'm seeing. Guess what that will create? Universe is like a genie in a bottle that you find, and it's not just 3 wishes, it's every wish you have. But the wish for the universe is everything you think, say, or be. So your fears, your anger, your desires, your love, your sarcasm, everything creates. So when you say something like, oh, I don't like what I'm seeing, I don't want to see it, your eyesight starts dropping. Because that's how universe responds. You desire that? Oh, okay. Maybe not the brightest choice, but we'll make it happen. Just like in that joke, I say that joke a lot of times in a lot of my shows. If you never listen to other shows and you're new listening to me first time, there is quite a few of podcasts that you can listen to. And so a guy on the bus is sitting and thinking about his life. I have horrible wife. She is a bitch. My boss is an asshole. My kids are idiots. I don't have any money. My life sucks. Behind him sits an angel. And he is thinking too. It's like, interesting choices. Interesting wishes. Okay, we'll make it happen. That's how universe operates. That's like anything you put out in the universe, call it God, call it divine, call it force, like Star Wars. But it's consciousness pretty much that includes everything and judges nothing. That's the definition of consciousness according to Access Consciousness. So when it includes everything and judges nothing, there is no bad, there is no good, there is no terrible, there is no judgment there. There is no right and wrong. So basically, anything you say or do is okay in the eyes of consciousness, if it has eyes. And yet, so if we're afraid of something, the universe doesn't distinguish that you're afraid of it or you desire it. Oh, I hope it never happens. The universe, okay, you would like it to happen? Sure, here it is. That's how we create our life. The idea is to let go of our judgment, let go of our points of view, because nothing that doesn't match those things can come in. It's very simple. If you have a judgment, if you have a point of view about something, let's say you have an idea that something is bad and you do not want it to happen. By the way, the words have a vibrational meaning and they have a vibrational frequency that attracts things. You remember the law of attraction years ago? Well, it's still irrelevant. So you attract what you're asking for. And the Bible truth, the truth in the Bible, ask and you shall receive. So anything you're asking. But the trick is, universe does not have polarity. Consciousness does not have polarity. It does not know the word no. Everything is a yes. If you ever seen the movie Yes Man with Jim Carrey, it's brilliant. Because that's an example of nothing is good, nothing is bad. Because in the movie, he's supposed to say yes to everything. He cannot say no. And you see how his life unfolds. Sometimes the choices are not so bright. And yet, they still bring him. I'm not going to spoil the end, but his life changes with the choices he makes. So what if there are no wrong choices? There are no suffering. There are no evil. There is no good. Well, there is evil in the world. I'm not talking about that. But I'm talking about in your life. What if there is no wrong? There is no right. And what if you actually, whatever you said yes to, brought you exactly where you are right now? And how much fun did you have all your life? Let's just look at that. What if everything you had or been or done, instead of looking at it through the judgments, through right and wrong, what if you actually look at everything through gratitude and look at that and say, oh, I had lots of fun. How much fun can I have now? How much more fun can I have now? More fun, please. And what if it's actually you mean it instead of misidentifying it as fun as pain and pain as fun, or suffering, what if you actually chose ease, joy, and glory? What if you start asking, how does it get any better than that? What else is possible now? Let's just close our eyes if you are not driving, or keep your eyes open. Actually, all the meditation that I've done, at least the last probably 15 years, or actually 24 years, because Akashic Records is still, it's a conscious meditation. You don't close your eyes. What if every moment of our lives was actually a walking, talking meditation with our eyes open, meaning that we would be conscious and cognitive of every choice we make? And what if we actually choose to have fun, not based on unconscious belief system, not based on our judgments, not based on our fears, but based on our desires, based on what would create our life instead of decaying it? What if we just choose the mantra, all of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory? And by the way, it doesn't mean that life becomes easy. It means that everything, good, bad, and ugly, comes with ease, joy, and glory. No matter what is going on in our lives, no matter what we create, and then we can uncreate it as long as we are aware and choosing based on choice, not on fears, not on anger, not based on our emotions, thoughts, and feelings, because those are implants and explants and a lot of programming that either from our childhood, adulthood, or sometimes even from previous lifetimes. Sometimes we're not even aware, we are not even have no clue where things came from. And we'll talk more about that unaware belief system or stuff that we have no idea where it's coming from after our second break of the show. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on Inspired Choices Network. And we will be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Magic and abundance are everywhere. What if you could tap into abundance and start creating your life with complete and total ease? Working with Dr. Helen Gitlevich will give you exactly that, total ease in creating abundance in your life. Dr. Gitlevich creates classes all over the world, both in person and online. She works with you to create abundance with your money, with your body, with your relationships, with all areas of your life with total ease. Connect with Dr. Helen Gitlevich at creatingabundancewithease.com. Her contribution in your world will be a noticeable gift in a very short period of time.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our show topic is how much fun is your life? And before we went on a break, we were talking about choices and how our point of view create our reality and how we choose unconsciously or not cognitively. And I know I've been searching all my life for the tools, and with Access Consciousness and Akashic Record, I found those tools that can change our lives. And I've been facilitating classes around the world pretty much based on both of those technology. They're different and yet they're similar because they tap into consciousness. And as I said before we went on a break, consciousness does not have polarity. It does not know the word no. We talked a little bit briefly about the Yes Man movie. So how do we get out of that unconscious, anti-conscious mode of creation? And okay, I hear your questions. What is unconscious or anti-conscious? It's like you've never heard those terms before. Basically, we can create consciously. Choosing fun is joy just by choosing, knowing what we're doing, aware of all our thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and choosing, actively choosing every moment. And then there is that autopilot system. When we go around, go to work, maybe work from home, doesn't matter, do things, meet people, talk to people, and we have no idea why. We have no clue of what we're doing, kind of like sleepwalking. How many of you, me too, lived your life like that? Majority of my life I lived like that. I had no clue of what I was doing. Like those thoughts we talked, I think it was in the first part of the show, I don't want to see this, or I don't want to hear this. That's unconscious creation, because you have no idea what that will create. If you did, you wouldn't say that, because any words, any thoughts that keep repeating itself is invocation. It's, if you ever seen fairy tale movies or read the fairy tale, remember the witches or wizards or warlocks or whoever, in order to create something, they would do invocation. They invoke something magical. What do? They would say the things 3 times or more. Something like abracadabra. You heard that word, right? Abracadabra, abracadabra, abracadabra. How many of you actually know what it means? Because to a lot of people, it's just gibberish. Oh, she just said abracadabra, so that's gibberish. That doesn't mean anything. Well, that word, well, actually, it's a sentence from Hebrew. And it was used by people in Kabbalah. It means abracadabra, I create as I speak. Remind you of something that we just talked about in the prior segments and now? Yeah, abracadabra. I create as I speak. Anything we say, anything we think, we create. But if we are not aware, that's unconscious creation. And then there is a whole huge area where we create anti-consciously, meaning against consciousness, against our awareness, against everything that we know. And how do we create it? Let me ask you a question. How often did you go on a date with somebody that you knew that you shouldn't go on a date? You knew it's a bad idea. Or married somebody. Me. Not pointing finger. Knew I shouldn't marry that person. I knew it would create disasters, and yet I did. So how many of you went somewhere and knew you shouldn't go? You had that inkling, because consciousness is not going to kind of like scream at you. It's usually whispers. It's like, might not be the brightest choice here. And yet, it literally what we choose. One of the ways to create anti-consciously, as I talked earlier in the first segment of the show, when we misidentify abuse and love, or abuse and fun, we choose that based on we're looking for love, and we choose somebody who will abuse us, gaslight us. And gaslighting is very insidious because a lot of times we are not even aware when people gaslight us, especially if we're unwilling to be gaslighted, resist being gaslighted, or not willing to abuse others. And it's not about going out and abusing people. It's about being aware of those energies. So how much are you unwilling to be aware that those energies exist in your life? How much are you refusing to see that the person that you might love is abusing you, like a parent or a spouse or a child or a friend? It doesn't matter who it is. The idea is to be aware. The more we are aware, the more we can choose something different, the more we can create based on what's actually contributing to us, what actually works for us, instead of choosing fun that we kind of misidentified as pain and suffering. So what if you actually let go of the idea of fun as pain and suffering? And what if you actually chose to really have fun? That you would choose abracadabra to create as you speak based on choices. And one of the ways, as I said, is letting go of judgment. Letting go of what's right, what's wrong, what's good, what's bad. And it's not about, a lot of people think that if they let go of morals or let go of the right and wrong, that they would start choosing something bad. Not so much. Because as an infinite beings, would we choose to abuse somebody? Would we choose to hurt somebody? And yet we are choosing to hurt ourselves. And my cat decided to kind of like come. It cannot come because it's like so hard to get her. Okay, never mind. And I'm back. Do you want to come? So how much we are refusing to be all of us based on our judgments that it might be right, it might be wrong. With the animals, they don't have that point of view. Look at Bella. She's just choosing. She wants to be on my lap right now, in the moment. I'm doing podcast. She doesn't think it's wrong to be in the podcast. She's like, no, I'm just coming to mama. And what if we be like that? And how much love she can give just based in that moment of choosing to create more. And how many of us are refusing to be all energy? We're judging. Oh, it might be wrong for the cat to be on the lap. Oh, it might be wrong for me to interrupt something. But what if that is the biggest gift you can give people? Your choice of being conscious. Because if you're conscious, you will ask what my choice will create. And you actually become aware of what that choice creates. Because a lot of times our choices, let's say, interrupt somebody or marry somebody that is an alcoholic or a drug addict, like I did. At that moment, I didn't have the tools of, if I married that person, what my life would be in 5 years, 10 years, and yet I'm very grateful for everything that I've done, been, and chosen, because it brought me here today. Maybe it was not an easiest journey, but let me tell you, it was a fun journey. It definitely wasn't boring. And it's time for our third and final break of the show. When we return, we'll talk more about what our choices create. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on Inspired Choices Network. We'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our show topic is, how much fun is your life? And before I became podcast host, I'm also Access Consciousness Facilitator and Akashic Record teacher and founder of School of Akashic Records. Also medical doctor. I facilitate classes around the world and invite people to a different possibility with everything in their life and what they can choose based on choice, not necessity. And you can find out more about me on creatingabundancewithease.com website. And you can email me at Helen at Access Consciousness. I'm sorry, Helen at creatingabundancewithease.com, as well as you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. Just a little commercial, I'm doing a few classes like Access Bars class coming up on September 9, Access Facelift coming up on September 20th, as well as BNU class that starts tomorrow. So join me, live classes or online. So how much fun is your life? And before we went on a break, we were talking about how much of our choices create our reality. But also, a lot of people think that if they don't have pain and suffering, their life would be boring. How many of you decided that you don't want to be bored? And what's interesting, a few years ago, I was at 7 Days with Gary Douglas, founder of Access. And a person in a class, I think it was day 3 or 4, he said he was bored. The class was amazing. It was a lot of contribution, a lot of changes, a lot of fun. To me, any time when there is shifts and changes in my life or in lives of others and or life of others, to me that's fun. That's what I consider fun and joy, and that's kind of my purpose in some ways, to have fun with that. I loved what Gary Douglas said when that person said, "Oh, I'm bored." Gary got very angry and he said, the only time when you can be bored is when you're not contributing to others. And that stuck with me because it's actually true. When I am contributing to other people, I never am bored. The only time, I don't remember myself being bored for a while now. But it's literally like that. If you're contributing to other people, to Earth, to universe, to yourself even, you cannot be bored. You're pretty much enjoying life, having fun, because the only thing, the antidote to boredom is gratitude. So when you are not grateful, if you get bored, when you're not grateful, then you can have judgment. So judgment and boredom, they kind of go hand in hand, because in order to be bored, you have to judge yourself to be bored. Seriously. Because that's what is. Because boredom is another judgment, just like wrong, or just like good, just like anything else that has a limited point of view. Because when people are bored, they don't see a big picture. They don't see how they can change their lives. They don't see how they can change lives of others. They also cannot be present because they have different pinholes, the judgments that are not allowing yourself to be. So what if it's about actually choosing what works and contributing and being? What if it's about choosing more that creates more for yourself and others? That's kind of like my question to you. What if we can have fun just by being who we are? And a lot of times it's about choosing in the moment. Because a lot of people try to control their lives, trying to plan their lives, and nothing wrong with that. But a lot of times that creates very limited reality. Because we can plan and control only so much. The universe is much bigger. That's why with Access and Akashic Records pretty much the same. It's never go into conclusion, never go into judgment, always asking questions. And I just wanted to remind you about Tool of the Week. And we started that with the question, how does it get any better than that? And what else is possible? That pretty much can be used in any situation. If it's good, it gets better. If it's bad, it can improve. But again, it's not good or bad. It's a choice we make. It's a judgment we put on that, good or bad. What if we just walk through life by choosing cognitively conscious, maybe not cognitive, but consciously, instead of doing autopilot system or anti-conscious choices? And I know a lot of things in the world right now is not what it seems, it's not what we desire, it's not what we would have chosen. And yet, a lot of people, our point of view creates our reality. So if a lot of people have a certain point of view, guess what's going on? The reality is going toward that point of view. What if we start shifting and giving up our point of view, our judgments, and start living in a world of gratitude, in a world of having fun, having ease, joy, and glory? And the other tool, well, you get a couple of tools of the week. The mantra, all of life comes to us with ease and joy and glory. So let's do it. Our show is coming to the end today, but I'll be back next week. And next week's show is time. Is it real? We'll be talking about time concept. Even according to Einstein, it's relative. So, and yet we create based on time and space and matter. Space is real. Space energy is real. Time and matter is not. Actually, when energy and space and consciousness, which is primal materia, when they combine together, that's what creates matter. And when that goes through space, it becomes linear time. And we'll talk more next week about that. And just a reminder that you can find out more about the classes, book a session on the website, creatingabundancewithiz.com. Friend me on the Facebook, follow me on Instagram. I think I'm on Twitter, but I'm not active. There's a couple of groups. They're free to join on Facebook. One of them being You Without Hiding, where I do a lot of Facebook Lives, lots of kind of activity going on with me, with Rachel Silber, with other facilitators. We've done 100 days of clearings. We've done gratitude calls. Just join us. There is no prerequisites to join. And also, Lale, Hancock, and I did 31-day judgment-free zone Facebook group. It still continues. Might not be as active as it was in the beginning. And just follow me and see where I am in the world. I hope to see you one of those days, time, somewhere live, or maybe on a Zoom. And just remember, all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. All of life comes to us with ease and joy and glory. All of life comes to us with ease and joy and glory. We'll see you next week, same time, same place, Wednesdays, 11 o'clock Central Standard Time, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Bye.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Creating Abundance with Ease radio show. Dr. Helen Gitlevich will return next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have fun using the tools of the week in your life and start creating magic in your life and your body.